Good.
Yeah, 50 years ago today, the first ever commercial Concorde flight took to the skies. Travelling at a speed twice as fast as the speed of sound, the Concorde could get to New York from London in less than 3 hours.
It was hailed as a game changer in aviation, and Concorde flew for 27 years before, of course, it stopped in 2003. So this morning, our reporter John Maguire takes a look back at what happened.
It's January 1976, and a plane load of royalty, VIPs, wealthy business people, and that guy are the first to fly in a commercial liner at twice the speed of sound.
Just past Venice, the extra thrust fired us through the sound barrier.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain. As you notice, we're coming up to twice the speed of sound.
Ahead of that inaugural Concorde flight bound for Bahrain, these photos were taken at Heathrow by a young schoolboy.
And I found myself clinging to the fence at Heathrow with thousands of other people watching the world's first commercial Concorde service take off for Bahrain. And if somebody bet me £1 million that day that I would end up flying that very aeroplane, I would have laughed and not taken the bet. But 23 years later, I did fly this very aeroplane that we're sitting on now. This is the first Concorde I flew. It was one of humankind's greatest technical achievements, without doubt. So to have the opportunity to fly Concorde was just beyond my wildest dreams.
The first flight was hailed as a success, but would sales of the aircraft follow suit? Waiting on the ground in the desert heat was Richard Harris, like Concorde, Bristol-born. Richard was one of the engineers nicknamed the fastest flying spanner in the world.
I was only 30 when we did Bahrain. Not there on my own as such, but the only overseas engineer out there.
His career took him around the globe as the aircraft flew country to country, trying to sell them to world leaders, including the Shah of Iran. But the timing couldn't have been worse.
The Shah was going to take 2 aeroplanes. It was a case of being designated for the grand plan for Tehran.
Wow.
And the Shah's 2 aircraft, which of course never came to be.
No, because of the revolution.
That's right.
For much of the next 3 decades, Concorde was a byword for innovation, speed and glamour.
Gosh. Wow. Look at this. Wow. I know.
As cabin crew, Marion Perks trained Julie Reynolds in a job they both loved. Stepping on board the last aircraft to fly here at the Aerospace Bristol Museum, the memories come flooding back.
I think on Concorde, it was just the magic of what we were doing, flying supersonic, having these passengers who we did charters who were as enthusiastic as you were. I think it was that, and the fact that, you know, British Airways and it's our Concorde. Just magical, yeah. Absolutely magical. Yes, I wouldn't have wanted to do anything else.
It's like the difference between a Ferrari and a Rolls-Royce. If you want a Rolls-Royce, you go on a 747-400. If you want a Ferrari Testarossa, you go on Concorde.
This is Julie, featured in a BBC documentary 32 years ago. She still flies for BA, working with colleagues who weren't born when Concorde first took to the skies. But she says the mystique remains.
And a lot of my younger colleagues, you know, they say, oh, my granddad worked, you know, in the production of it. And I'm like, OK, I know I'm old, but thanks. But yeah, they do have this insatiable appetite to know what it was like. And I get asked on every single flight.
Yes.
Yeah, every single flight. What was it like? Who have you met? You know.
Famously, flying transatlantic on Concorde meant cheating time. So in 1985, with Live Aid concerts at Wembley and Philadelphia, Phil Collins could play both. BBC presenter Steve Blacknell was with him.
Listen, whose idea was this whole trip, this Philadelphia idea?
No idea. No, it was, we thought if it could be done, wouldn't it be good to do it?
I'm pretty sure, John, it was here.
Yeah, OK.
Number 3.
Yeah.
And Philip Collins was here.
It's Phil Collins right next to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Any arguments about who got the window seat?
No, not really. When you are flying that fast and when you're up in the air, it feels like you're standing still. Right. But it was only when we went into the cockpit and I saw the curvature of the Earth, I thought, hang on a minute, what are we doing? That really was a moment. Yeah. That was incredible.
Despite returning to service after the Paris crash in 2000, commercial aviation fell out of love with its biggest star, one that had flown to the edge of space. In 2003, this was the last Concorde to fly. And as it lowered its famous nose and landing gear for the last time, the golden age of supersonic passenger air travel was over. John Maguire, BBC News at Aerospace Bristol.
I was right there that day, that final flight as the last Concorde flew back to Bristol. And it's still there in a hangar. I think it's just moved hangar recently as part of the exhibition. But, you know,
that mystique remains, doesn't it?
And especially in a place like Bristol, which has got those connections of building it. You know, they feel it, they like it. There's Concorde Way is one of the roads. You see Concorde Cafe. It's really in the heart of people in the city.
Should we see you back in 2003?
Oh, I don't know.
Have we got it?
I've aged rather less well than Concorde, I think.
I think we've got a clip of John somewhere. We'll get it to you back in 2003. Do get in touch.
Deep into the archive.
People will have memories. I remember used to watch it and that sound used to crack as it came over. If you've got memories of Concorde, get in touch with us. We'd really like to hear them. All the details are on the screen there.
Maybe you've got a picture of you on Concorde. Maybe you
squeezed in. They were quite small, I think, weren't they?
They used to sometimes do like short trips, so not necessarily transatlantic, but you could go on for an hour over the Bay of Biscay or something as a special treat, and obviously that was more reasonably priced than doing the full journey to America. Lots of you getting in touch about Concorde, including Keith, who remembers 1986. He was 20 years old. He was a chauffeur and he was taking a customer for a trip on Concorde, like one of those day trips that we're talking about. But when they got there, another customer had an argument with his wife and she didn't turn up, which meant there was a spare seat going. So Keith got the flight, said it was the most memorable flight he's ever had. Amazing day, the sheer power forcing you into the seat. Doesn't sound like Keith took much forcing to get him into the seat in the first place. But then the ease to achieve Mach 2. Hold that memory forever.
Oh, lovely. So many of you are getting in touch, and people saying they used to just listen to the sonic boom as it went over. I heard it. There was nothing like it, was there?
Yeah.
Nothing like it. So keep them coming. We love reading them.
And we're looking at this morning at the 50th anniversary of the first ever commercial Concorde flight.
Yeah, to mark the occasion, a new set of stamps are being released. The Royal Mail said it's produced 12 stamps which pay tribute to the supersonic aircraft's innovation, elegance and engineering excellence.
Those will be popular stamps,
so
won't
popular.
They? Lots of you getting in touch this morning with your own memories, reflections, recollections of Concorde. Some of you even were lucky enough to fly on it.
Yeah, and some people just, it was just the sight and the sound of it. We've got one from Julia here. She remembered her wedding day back in June 1969. They were just about to start the wedding speeches when they heard the unmistakable sound of Concorde approaching. June 1969, when did it start flying?
I don't know, but it's 50 years ago.
Yeah, so I think it might be a bit later than 1969.
Well, there were test flights that went a long time out of Bristol and across the West Country a lot of the time, so it might well have been one of the early test flights.
Amazing. So everyone rushed out on the town hall steps. Concorde came past alongside two other smaller planes and everyone cheered, and it's still spoken about today.
Do you think they got it in their wedding video?
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Sarah's been in touch in Portsmouth. She said she and her brother were the first children ever to fly on Concorde. It was a commercial flight from London to Bahrain. I was 10, my brother was 7. It was the most exciting day of our lives.
Oh, keep your memories coming in because it's really lovely to hear them. And it was such an really iconic. We use that word infrequently, but I think here it's completely appropriate.
Got an icon now. Morning, Carol.
Thank you, John. Good morning, both. Good morning to you too.